Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis, updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities, ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We've got a coupon code special that is going on Black Friday, which is one word. You get 50% off the first month and first month only, and you get a larger discount on the yearly membership if you'd like to join the yearly membership. All right, so let's dive in. Let's take a look, see what's going on today. We're starting with the DXY, and we've got a flat day on the dollar. It's up 0.11%. We do have a red candlestick, but we're on top of this support structure level here. You can see us on top of it. So generally, when you're on top of a structure, they generally use this as support, and usually they break higher because they took the effort to get on top of the structure, and then they use it as support to jump off of. So right now, the dollar still looks, in my opinion, strong from where it's trading right now in relationship to previous levels. The 2-year is down a little bit, down 0.5%. Short term, it's going all over the place. So short term, we've got resistance support here. We broke through that. We've been coming on up, and now we're starting to roll over a little bit. Here's a little bit of a rollover. We'll see if there's any follow through in 2-year yield. On the longer end of the curve, we are up. So we're up about 0.5% on the 10-year. We ran into resistance the past few trading sessions coming up through here. We've pulled on back a little bit yesterday. And today we've got a small up day. Now, I'm going to reserve judgment here. One can say that we've broken this kind of uptrend there, and we've dropped down from it. So momentum-wise, we could still pull on back. We're real close to the support area to some degree. So are we going to get any support, or are we just going to start to head on lower here? So that's what I'm watching. I'm watching to see if we get any follow through here on the 10-year. If we follow through and we get some more downside, I think that will help mortgage rates and stuff like that. So we could see home builders go up if that does fall. And there might be other sectors that benefit from a lower 10-year in terms of other sectors. 30-year, we're still above all this support. Here we are above all of that support, and we have to start breaking through it. So if we are going to go lower, and it looks like it might try to go lower here, we have a downward move with a small little bloody nose, inverted. We'll see if we can punch through or not. TYX, TNX ratio down a little bit today, down 0.13%. The 2-year fell, the 10-year was up 0.5%, and the 30-year was up 0.1%. So we had a little bit of the curve invert when you do the 30 divided by the 10. And that doesn't really, it's not a huge help to gold, I'll put it that way. But it's inverted. Usually when it uninverts, that's when gold generally takes off historically. Looking at bond prices, so bond prices down 0.3%. They still look okay to try to go higher, but we've got a ton of resistance ahead of us. I feel like we're at a crossroads for a lot of things here. I feel like we've got a lot of downside momentum and upside momentum generated. And ever since we had the elections, it's like things are gyrating all over the place. So bond prices, yes, we're up a little bit, but we need to get through a lot of resistance that's ahead of us. We've got the 2 and 10 that is right on support. We pulled back and uninverted today, which that'll be a tailwind for gold. We're right against support, and we'll see if this support holds right where we're at. Gold's up $14. Not a convincing looking chart to me. We've got an uptrend line that's been broken. We've got a move higher for a potential retest. And then we could see this pull back or go sideways. We have an inverted bloody nose with a big bearish engulfing candlestick. So that makes me think that there's the possibility that this could go lower or sideways in the short term. We've got a similar setup here in silver. We have this big selling pressure candlestick here with a inverted bloody nose, which means that we could still see downside selling pressure. That's also on the back of a big bullish engulfing over here. So we've got a weird dynamic going on here. We've got the buyers and sellers battling it out at these levels for a bunch of different things. And I'll show you what those are. But we're doing that here on silver. Platinum's down a little bit. I think this looks pretty good down here. But we are down 1.4% today. We're getting towards the bottom end of this support area. Palladium moving flat today. So just a flat day. Momentum is to the downside in the very short term. GDX is up about 0.5%. GDXJ is down a little bit, down 0.3%, and SILJ is up 0.3 or so. None of these, I mean, we've got downward momentum on all of them. Some of them are up against support. Some of them have a little bit of, room to go down to the support level. But overall, I'd say the momentum is still down, and that hasn't shifted yet in any of these. XEU to gold ratio, we were up a little bit today versus the metal itself, the gold and silver mining companies. We're really low. And for the patient investor, this is where an ideal entry point would be. Gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold. I think you need gold to continue to outperform the consumer price index, which it's broken to the upside. So everything looks really good here for the gold and silver mining companies still. Crude oil, we're down 0.4% today. Not a huge follow-through day with this bearish engulfing before, but we could see selling pressure tomorrow. So we've got a big bullish engulfing here to send it on up, and then we've got the big bearish engulfing that showed up last trading session, not this most recent one, but the one before it. And we have to see what kind of happens next. This is a battle between the buyers and the sellers through here, in which direction we're going to go. You could even throw, trend line's not going to be too useful there. TTF gas down 2.33%. This is a bearish engulfing candlestick there, which generally means that we could roll over and pull back or consolidate. Sideways or slightly lower is generally what I see with these. Longer term momentum is up from a little bit longer term, so we continue to make higher highs and higher lows, and that momentum is still upward on a medium term basis. Natural gas in America is up 3.35%. It looks pretty good, and we've got upside momentum. We've broken through resistance, and everything looks okay. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, we're down 0.7%. We're still above all of the support intersections of all of this stuff. So it's still bullish to go higher. But again, we're going to have to see crude oil play along here. But we are above all of that resistance support area. OIH down 1.2%. We're right at that resistance support area. We're right on top of it. Coming into this, it looked pretty bullish. We've got a big move higher, kind of a flag pattern. We've broken out, kind of doing a little retest right now, and we'll see if we get any follow through to the upside for OIH. The energy service companies. Newcastle coal futures selling off today, down. Pulling on back from resistance that we were up against, and maybe we have to loop back around before we try to break out in the future. We've got Sprott Physical Uranium Trust still within this big flag pattern, and we are down 3.5%. Momentum is to the downside in the very short term. Uranium futures pricing down about 0.5%, and it's still holding on. We've got a falling wedge here. This is, what's really weird. We've got a lot of bullish formations uh, that formed before these, and we're kind of getting like a failure to launch in a lot of stuff here just recently. Um, just just making an observation. URA still holding pretty strong above support. Small down day today, 0.9%, still above the support trend line. We've got URNM down 0.9%. Momentum is still down in the short term. URNJ down 0.4% as well, but it looks okay. We've broken through the trend line and just kind of maybe perhaps flagging out. And then we've got copper down 1.1%. We're right on the trend line here. Let's see if we can hold here or if we're going to actually move on lower. If we start to dive on copper, I would start to watch the 2-year yield. If the 2-year yield starts to dive, that's your signal that something could be wrong in the system, that a slowdown could be materializing. TOPX, it doesn't look as bad as copper so far. It's hanging on, and we do have a little wick at the bottom of the candlestick, meaning there's some buying pressure at the end of this day. So we sold off, and then we got bought back up, is what I mean in the short term. Iron ore moving sideways, still looks okay. Nothing really changed there. Aluminum just selling off a little bit from this massive resistance level that we haven't been able to get through. We're just pulling back from that. Nickel up about 0.5%, and that's trying to, I think, find a bottom here, almost like another double bottom going on. So it's a double bottom and then a double bottom. So it's a dream within a dream, perhaps. We've got Moo down 1%, but we're still have some upside momentum off of support. We do have a big falling wedge before this. So there's the falling wedge to the big support line going across there. All of that looks good. And we're getting support here. So we're just waiting for takeoff. Emerging markets down a little bit. We had a stronger dollar, a little bit stronger yields. So slightly weaker emerging markets. And this could be a bear flag. It very well could be a bear flag if the dollar continues to strengthen. KRE down about 1%, and that still has upside momentum, still has support, going across here and all that stuff. TAN, slightly lower, but that looks good to try to work its way on up here for the solar ETF. Lithium or LIT, down 3.36%. We're right at this resistance support level. We can kind of go through there, and we're trying to break through it. We'll see if we can break through it or if we're going to perhaps come back and loop back around. We'll see. REMX down 2.74%. I know we're right on support here, and it looks like we're getting a little bit jiggy to the downside here. So maybe we sell off a little bit here in the short term. That does look a little bit bear flaggish to me, where we could head a little bit lower in the short term. Baltic Dry Index down about 0.5%, slightly underneath the resistance support line. We've got XHB down 1.9%, but we're still above the support level, trying to make all-time highs for home builders. I did see the data that new home sales is down, but home sales, I get it. It is down, and that should be a driver of home builders. So we're still real close to all-time highs, which is kind of funky here. We've got Russell 2000 down a little bit, but we are still got some good upside momentum. Not a huge reversal candlestick or anything. We've got S&P 500 up. That actually looks pretty good to continue higher. We've got the NASDAQ up a little bit, and that continues to work its way on up, even in the face of infinite rising wedges. This is insane, guys. These setups, like this setup is so bearish here, and somehow they just keep pumping it higher. And then it's another bearish setup, and then they pump it higher. This is insane how this is going. And this is, you could say that this is almost like another rising wedge, but we'll see where it goes. We got SMCI down 10%. And again, I'm not touching this. I don't trust this thing. I'm just watching it. There's your top. and then there's your bull. What is that called? It's a bear flag. So you come in and it's an inverted flag pattern, but it's a bull trap. Your bull trap. Nvidia, it is looking like it's going to potentially roll over. Lots of large red candlesticks starting to show up on the right hand side. We've got bearish engulfings all over here too, which generally is bearish. But somehow it finds the strength to continue on higher here, and we'll see if that continues or not. Bitcoin down about 2.7%. We do have a little bit more selling pressure, but there is some support right where we're at. And we'll see if we get any support there. We've got Ethereum that is right at resistance, down 2.8. We'll see if we can break through here. It still looks bullish to me for an effort to try to break through. Still looks bullish. And we'll see if we get any bearish type patterns. I mean, it could be a little bearish, the pattern we got today, but it's right against resistance. It's not a huge reversal candlestick, so let's watch it for tomorrow and the next few trading sessions. MicroStrategy, again, this thing looks like it's topping to me. Big bearish engulfing. It's an inverted bloody nose, and that generally heads lower. Now we're looking at the follow through to see what happens. Generally, you get a large move up or down, I mean, and then you get like a flag pattern. That'll be your bear trap, and then it will head lower again. So that's what we're looking for, and this we can get practice for identifying topping patterns if it is a topping pattern. And it's going to look very similar to SMCI is my guess. So it's going to look very similar to this is what I think could happen. And we'll see if it actually plays out that way. And then the VIX continuing lower and the S&P continuing higher. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. The coupon code is Black Friday if you'd like to join and try it out. I am releasing a midweek update that will be active on Wednesday. Sometimes I release it late Tuesday night. And that is where I share all my opinions on the market, what I'm seeing in individual companies. And I do a lot of the charting like this, but with individual companies. And then I share my opinions. So I will be doing that tonight, probably being released for Wednesday. You might be able to view it Tuesday night. And that's what I've got going on today. So that's all I've got for today. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.